So, a couple of things. I want you guys to walk away with stuff you can just go home and start doing. And I'm standing back there just warming up a little bit. I was like, wait a minute, let me come up here and warm up. I'm going to show you how I warm up. And, you know, I own a guitar education website called Gitopia. And the focus is all on output, because you can learn all the scales you want, all the theory you want. Sorry, that's my phone. That is Bush League move number 1, is putting a cell phone on an amp, because you're just going to hear it transmit through the amp. So put that over there. The focus at Gitopia, and as a learning guitar player, should be on your output. You can learn all the theory and you can practice all the technique you want. Does that mean you know how to use it musically? A lot of times that answer is no, you know? You can learn licks from somebody else. You can learn anything you want from anywhere you want, but your output is the only thing that really matters. It really is. So I take that and I put it all the way through the process, even from every single day when I pick up the guitar and I start to warm up, because that's another thing that really started driving me crazy. Now, I've been playing for 31 years, and I was like, you know what? Every day when I pick up the guitar, I should just be able to shred my face off and do anything I want from the minute I pick up the guitar in that morning. And it doesn't happen. It does not happen. I don't care who you are. It doesn't really happen. I mean, it's relative. You can kind of start playing around, but it doesn't really happen. And that started to bum me out. And I realized, you know what? It's just like going to the gym or any athlete. You know, athletes get on the field, they start to stretch, they start to warm up before they think they're going to go out and do their full thing. This is a physical thing. We are moving, and there's a lot of moving parts. This hand synchronization is the bane of most players' existence, but it doesn't have to be. It's a perspective thing. Let's relax on the perspective of, I should be able to pick up this guitar and, you know, play as amazing as I did after playing for 4 hours yesterday when you're fresh that day. It's not going to happen. So here's what I want you to do. Again, focusing on output, everything I do is over jam tracks. At Gitopia, I build a new jam track every single week. Personally, I build them because I got so tired of trying to find good jam tracks. So we're coming up on 300 hand-built jam tracks. And that's amazing for me because I want to focus on output from the start. So I'm going to throw on just any kind of jam tracks here that I have. This is one I was working on. Actually, this one came out Wednesday. September is Electro Ambient Jam Track Month at Gitopia. There's a new theme every month, so this is very chill. And this is in C. Now, to warm up, you can start with some basic, sorry, this is minor. Now, just kind of improvising at that point, but I want to warm up, you know? So I'm going to pick a subdivision in a technique. So I'm going to say alternate picking, which I am not really an alternate picker, but I'm going to pick alternate picking. And this track is right there. So where's the 8th note? You guys give me that? Say it out loud. That's it. 1 and 2 and 3. Just start there. So on, you know, really nice and easy. We're easing into this. Can you give me the 8th note triplet? I'm sorry, I can't hear you, but you're probably doing it right. Triplet, 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 ba, ba, ba. Just move to that subdivision. I'm not worried about phrasing. I'm not worried about musicality. I'm warming up. This is warm-up section of our playing. 16th notes. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a... And you can go from there, right? So I'm going to pause the track for a second. So the first prerequisites are knowing your subdivisions, right? Anything, and it sometimes drives me crazy because I'll hear a tick of any kind, like the car blinker. I start hearing that, and I start going 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a, but that's good. It's good to train your mind to listen to any kind of pulse and be able to subdivide it. So you should be able to subdivide. Eighth notes, eighth note triplets, 16th notes, 16th note triplets, 32nd notes, and so on. And then you can go quarter note triplets, half notes, etc. You gotta start at a pace that's slow enough for it to be perfect. Anytime, and that's another thing that comes up with a lot of people. It's like, well, I gotta slow this down because I'm not playing it correctly. Great. Step one is recognition. How slow do I make it? You slow it down, whatever it is, to a tempo where you can play it perfectly. Walk away with nothing else except for this. You can play anything you could ever possibly fathom right now if you just play it slow enough. Any technique, any amount of notes, obviously you have to know the notes, but you can play it all right now. You just have to play it slow enough. You're going to start to understand that all of my teaching from experience, that's really what it's all about. Experience comes with a lot of philosophy-based stuff because your mind is the thing that's in your way. It really, really is with all this kind of stuff. It's super easy. It really is. Play slow. How easy is that? We're going to talk about phrasing in a second. And the number one thing with phrasing, can anybody give me the 2 definitions of phrasing? Anything you got in mind? See, you're all guitar players, assuming, and you can't answer what phrasing is. Now, I'm not... okay, yes. I'm not getting down on you, by the way. I'm just saying that this is part of the issue with guitar education, and unfortunately with the abundance that we have of teachers. I'm going to put that in big quotes, teachers on the internet, because a lot of them don't know how to answer these questions. They don't even know how to ask the right questions or get the answers. The musical statement, phrasing it's a twofold thing. The first side of it is the length of that musical statement, right? With my warming up, I'm just thinking about stamina. I'm just going. All right, we'll get back to that in a second. The other half of it is the pause between the musical statements. It's just stop playing, and that's really difficult for a lot of people. Just take your hands off the guitar. Stop playing if you have to, because if you keep going, it's like opening a book and there's no punctuation. Impossible to read. You can't enjoy it. It's that kind of thing. You got to put the punctuation into your playing. Stop playing. Just stop playing. We're going to talk about that in a second here. We're going to talk about other things that are going to make us good players right now with very simple tactics, okay? But back to the warming up, the prerequisites. One is knowing your subdivisions, being able to hear any kind of click, any kind of musical situation, and you're gonna get some comments on this, but I'm never going to tell you to practice to a metronome because that is not music. It's boring as hell, and the jam tracks are the metronome. That's not going to lead you off. It's exactly where you should be with that kind of pulse. Plus, it's drums, bass, guitar, keys, everything harmonic that will enable you to get practice with that and then walk into an open mic night and jam with actual people, right? Or just your friend. It's still music. It's not to a click. So I'm not going to tell you to jam to a click, jam to jam tracks. Recognizing the pulse in there and subdividing it great.